I failed you. The YouTube game pushed me to rush the release of a video about the new refinement system just to be the first one to get views, because unfortunately sometimes that's how it works, with the result that I rated this new refinement system 1 star out of 5 without even making the proper calculations. That's why I took down the video and gave up to some easy ad revenue, because essentially I did not think I deserved it. And for that I apologize. I just reworked the video and I have all the calculations to show to you on the screen. Without further ado, let's get into it. Hello everyone, I'm Wick Gaming and this is what I personally think about the new refinement system. Before, let's briefly see what changed compared to the old system. In the old system, the first forge had an 11% chance to gain a special talent, the second forge had a 22% chance, the third a 33%, the fourth had a 44%, and the fifth time you reforged the same item, a special talent was directly granted to you. In the new system, every forge has an 11% chance of giving you a special talent, with the fifth always being the granted one. But there is a new feature called the Refinement System. This system basically requires you to gain 100 refinement points in order to select a special talent on your item. What I did not know in my previous video is that for every time the bar reaches 25, 50 or 75 points, the probabilities will change. As you can see, these are the probabilities to score points with an item that has gained 25 points, and here you have the probabilities for an item with 50 refinement points. Of course, when you reach 75 refinement points, the next refinement will automatically grant you a special talent. While in the old system you had to dismantle and to reforge again, in the new system you don't need to do that. But this is not really an advantage, because to refine an epic piece you still need a blueprint and the same amount of gold. Of course, for the epic pieces you will not need materials, because you could anyway gain them 100% back by dismantling the piece in question in the old system. For the legendary pieces instead, you need to use half of the original necessary materials to forge the specific item, plus the blueprint, plus the original amount of gold. So nothing has changed for this aspect. You need exactly the same stuff you will need if you dismantled that legendary piece and got 50% of the materials back. So you will need the blueprint, the materials, and the gold. Here already I am a bit disappointed. I totally expected that at least we didn't have to use another blueprint, because at this moment some items will be very difficult to specialize, for example the KVK item, like the concealed dagger right here. But let's go on. Can we determine if the new system is somehow better than the old one in terms of getting a special talent? Yes, surely we can. In this table, as you can see, I wrote down my calculations to determine which are your chances of getting a special talent with the old system if you reforged an item multiple times. First forge, you just have that 11% chance. Second forge, you have 22% chance, but overall 30.58% chance of getting a special talent within 2 forges. I explained myself better. Taken individually, the forges have a chance of 11 and 22% respectively. But which is the overall chance of getting one special talent when forging the same item 2 times in the old system? It's 30.58%. And you can see the formula that I used to calculate this chance by yourself. I left it on the screen on purpose. For 3 forges, this chance goes up to 53.49%. For 4 forges, it goes up to 73.95%. It means that you only had a 26.05% of not getting a single special talent on the same item after forging it 4 times. Therefore, yes, you are very unlucky. In the new system, you have different paths, different ways of getting a special talent with the refinement after you did not get it at the first try. You have another 11% of getting 100 refinement points. Essentially, the first refinement is worse than crafting it for the second time in the old system, because you will have an overall chance of 20.79% over 30.58% in the old system. Therefore, the new system is 10% less likely to give you a special talent in the first refinement if you have an empty bar. And you do have an empty bar if you did not recraft the item at least one time before the update. This is definitely less convenient for low and mid spenders. You just have less chances of getting a special talent with the new system with the very first refinement. If you refine the item 2 times, you have 3 different possible paths: 25 plus 75 points, 50 plus 50 points, and 75 plus 25 points. I'm not going over the math, but the formula we used is the one on the screen. Again, feel free to check, double check, and triple check it. I am human and I can make mistakes. But my result is that overall, with 2 refinements, you have approximately the same possibility as before to get a special talent on your item. So, first craft plus 2 refinements has the same chance of 3 distinct forges with the old system. With 3 refinements instead, you can get your special talent in another 3 ways: 25 plus 25 plus 50 points, 25 plus 50 plus 25 points, and 50 plus 25 plus 25 points. In this case, the new system is more convenient than the old one, because with 3 refinements you have an overall 86.45% chance of getting your special talent. So, if you don't get it after 1 forge plus 3 refinements in the new system, you will be in the 13.55% unlucky players that do that. You can compare all the percentages on the screen. There is now another aspect to take in consideration. When you refine, you don't reforge. Personally, I would rather reforge an item like a KVK item, for example a horn or a concealed dagger, and benefit from an increased chance of getting a special talent on an amazing item that I know I can use on another match. You can always use 2 horns or 2 rings or 2 Pride of the Khan if you're a cavalry player, for example. With the new system, you always have 11% chance when reforging your item, and if you refine your item, yes, you use 50% less materials, but I could do the same with the old system by dismantling my item. But you get a copy of your item in the old system. I would rather accumulate the full materials again in some cases, like the KVK pieces, and enjoy my increased chance. Also, the first forge plus first refinement in the new system, as I said before, has a 10% less overall chance to give you a special talent, compared to the old system, where at the second forge you had an overall 30.58% chance to get a special talent within those 2 forges. And chances are that free-to-play, low spenders, but even mid-spenders players are interested in that, in the chance of the first refinement. Is this update better for free-to-play, low spenders, and mid-spenders? Absolutely not. Is this update better for high spenders? Absolutely yes, because they will more likely get a special talent at the 3rd refinement compared to the old system, and chances are they are going to refine the legendary pieces 3 times. Another aspect is that players who already reforged an item 2 or 3 times in the old system will now be totally screwed, because they will have an extreme gap compared to before. They will almost have to start over with the refinement system. I'm really sorry about that, that's a big disadvantage. This video does not want to be a rant. I'm just analyzing the math and considering the fact that probably free-to-play, low spenders and mid-spenders combined compose over 95% of Rise of Kingdoms population. Think about it. Now, we should also consider the fact that in the crystal chests of the tavern, you can now find full legendary blueprints. But we also need to consider that in the Sunset Canyon, you do not drop equipment fragments anymore. As you can see, if I battle, I just drop material and material crates and crystal keys. In the previous video that I took down, I rated this new refinement system with 1 star out of 5, and I'm not sticking to my opinion only because I can now rate it half star. You know what? Yes, I rate it half star. I'll be clear. There are many other super positive aspects of this update. For example, the resource nodes having 25% more resources, and you have 10% more base gathering speed. And you are also, very important, producing 50% more materials in the blacksmith, 15 every 3 hours instead of 10. And also Ark of Osiris practice games being available in the weekends. That's all stuff I love. But this video focused on the new refinement system only, and this is my honest 100% open and transparent opinion on the topic. What do you guys think? If you enjoyed my analysis, please drop a like and subscribe. I also wanted to thank Big Boy Justin from my Discord, the link is in the description down below, that helped me with this video a ton and provided me datas. Thank you, Justin. I will see you on the next one. Ciao!